What up? What up?
B Wood,
What's going on with
how
you?
you living?
Man, can't complain. Can't complain, man.
You got your workout
Yeah,
in?
man. Just a little something light. Something light on a Thursday, man.
That's something I wanted to do with you when I'm in next time I'm in town. I want to work out with you. I think you'd be impressed. I'm starting to look like Captain America a little bit.
Captain Who?
Captain America.
Oh, like the okay,
Yeah, yeah,
like the
yeah.
skinny, the skinny version.
No, 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 no. See, here's the thing. You see me with a lot of jackets. I do that on purpose. So then when people see me, I'm already naturally taller than they think. And then they're like, dang, I wear more fitted shirts. You know what I mean? You saw me in person. Come on now. But I had a long sleeve. I had a long sleeve.
My bad, Captain America. My bad. My
It's all
bad,
good.
man. My
It's all
bad.
good. It's all good. One what I was just watching, and I forgot to ask you this last time. I'm like, I gotta talk to B Wood.
What were
So
you watching?
I didn't know you're obviously very outspoken. You assert yourself, so it doesn't surprise me. You played the center position, but you wanted to smoke with Gilbert when he said off the glass. When Gilbert Arenas said, "Give me that off the glass," you knocked on his door. What
Yeah, man.
what were you trying to do, man?
You know what? I was just basically trying to. I was trying to get a point across.
Okay.
But I had learned from I had learned from my previous situations with other players that I got into. Like, if you try to confront a player in front of the locker room, all the macho comes out.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel disrespected, and I tell Gil in front of everybody, "Hey, man, you can't talk to me like that." Now he got to act a certain way because everybody watching.
That's true. Right. 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 That's smart then.
But if you wait and you go talk to somebody one on one, you will get a lot more accomplished. So I wasn't even trying to Gil tells the story the way he tells. Gil probably thought I went up there to threaten him or fight him, but I really just went up there to talk to him because I understood talking to him without a lot of people around will take a lot of the anxiety, the macho-ness out of the situation. I learned that from like I said, getting into it with Eton Thomas 3 times. The one time that we sat around and talked where no one else was around was the time we got the most accomplished.
Now, you guys clearly have some stories from those Wizards days. He was talking about the
Sure.
coaching. Is there a story that you haven't had a chance to say or something between you and Gil? What's your relationship with Gil? Because it seems like you guys are both very outspoken and two people that really understand each other.
Man, me and Gil are still cool. We're still cool. We text, call, talk.
Yeah.
So we're still cool. Gil's a great dude, incredibly funny. Love the success he's having. I mean, like, Gil got so many different stories, man. Like, from the silly stuff he was doing to just the killer on the court that he was, man.
Yeah.
So like like I said, my favorite Gilbert Arenas moment is nothing silly. My favorite Gilbert Arenas moment is about his mindset.
Mm.
Like, I'm not sure. Do you remember? Like, there's the series in Chicago where he hits the game winner
Yeah.
over Kirk Heinrich and Tyson
Yeah.
Chandler.
Gil was nasty.
So yeah, for sure. So like, man, Gil hits that shot. Everybody's going crazy. We go in the locker room, and we're still going crazy celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, I walk over to Gil and I say, "Hey, man," because the play wasn't for Gil. The play was for Gilbert Arenas to catch the ball, draw the attention of Chicago's defense. I was supposed to set a weak side pin down screen on Larry Hughes' man, and Larry Hughes was supposed to pop out, and Gil was supposed to make the pass.
Mm.
Gil catches the ball. I set the pin down.
Right.
Gil goes the other direction and pulls up. And so, and he hits it. And so I was like, "Yo, how did you know to go that way instead of throwing it to Larry this way?" And he looks at me with the most confused look, and he says, "Larry was supposed to get the ball?" I said, "Yeah, the play was for Larry." He said, "Oh, I had no idea." He said, "All I know is I watched the play till where Eddie said I was going to get the ball, and from then I'd already formulated I was going to take that shot because that's what because I felt like I gave us the best chance."
Wow.
He had no idea that Larry Hughes, if you ever go look at that play, Larry Hughes is wide open on the
He had no idea.
Gil had no idea because his mindset was, "Yo, I'm going to win this game." And he said, "I saw the play drawn up until right where Eddie said I got the ball." And from that point on, he wasn't worried about what happened on the weak side. He was formulating how he was going to get a shot off and make that shot in that moment on the road in Chicago. So that's my favorite Gil moment because it's like he just he believed in himself. Man, belief is huge. Confidence
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He put the work in. Preparation inspires confidence, and he had incredible preparation. People didn't know that. They think he's just a silly guy. He worked incredibly hard. And then the confidence, because of who he naturally was and the preparation he put in, was insane through the roof.
Do you think he's underappreciated when people look at like some of the best point guards that played the game, or just the guards in general? Do you think he's underappreciated or overlooked?
Gilbert Arenas is definitely underappreciated because his reign of greatness was like 3 years because of the knee injury. And then at that time, you know, sometimes people don't appreciate different things until it becomes mainstream. And Gil was a point guard wanted to shoot all those shots. It was seen as taboo. You don't play like John Stockton or Chris Paul or Jason Kidd, and you know, so Gilbert wasn't as celebrated as guys now like the Dame Lillards and these guys that take a lot of shots. He wasn't as celebrated as those guys. So I think Gil was definitely overlooked because he had a 3-year run. But when it came to scoring the ball, wasn't too many better than that dude.
No, I'm about to say that he's cold. And you look at his plays and now if you took Gil from then and put him into now, I think we look at him complete. Not that we don't look at him in a good light now, but I feel like people would put him in a whole different category.
If you put Gil into today's game, first of all, he'd be able to take 8, 9, 10 threes a game. That would be because like back then you don't live by the three, you die by it. That was the mindset of most organizations. So if you put Gilbert Arenas in today's game, he's going to be just as lethal because he has unlimited range. He's a big body, strong guard. Back before that knee injury, he was a big, strong guard that never had to slow down when he changed direction. Gil would have been right up there with the Dame Lillards of today's game, the De'Aaron Foxes, all those high-end point guards. We'd be talking about Gil in that light. That's how special he was pre-knee injury.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, I was listening to those stories and made me think about just him as a player. And then obviously I'm like, well, I wonder how many stories you two have, because you guys are both very, like I said, outgoing. You guys clearly speak your mind, but yeah, you guys are both incredibly intelligent. So I'm sure you guys clicked on a whole nother level. So I had to get some insight there. And I love the way he breaks down the game and how the guards are today too. So shout out to Gil. And I also wanted to ask you this last time. There's something going on with Tatum and the Celtics in close games.
Right.
And a lot of people Colin Cowherd actually said this, almost like the Buffalo Bills of the NBA, where during the regular season, we know that they're this juggernaut, they're stacked, the roster looks good, but from your perspective, have you seen enough from Boston to trust them come playoff time, Tatum to close those games? Most recently, I think he had Garland on him. So he's 6'8", 6'9", Garland 6'1", and he's kind of settling for a fader. Even though he's that guy from the mid-range, do you trust Tatum in those late-game moments? Do you trust the Celtics in those late-game moments?
Yeah, I trust Tatum in late-game moments, but I do think there are different ways that you can scheme your stars into good areas. Like, look at what Denver does.
Yeah.
Like, in a late-game moment, you know they're going to run a pick and roll, and they're going to see how you play it. And based off that pick and roll, it's like, hey, either we're going to pick, if you switch it, we're going to run Jokic to the free throw line, let him post up, do his thing. Right. If you try to hedge on Jamal, we'll let Jokic pop to an open area and knock down the shot. If you don't play Jamal will come off and shoot. It's just Denver in late game situations, you feel more comfortable in how they're going to get there. As far as Boston, I believe in Tatum hitting the shot. But sometimes you got to put your guy in the best position to get that shot. So it's like, okay, what I'm going to do is I might run Tatum off of a quick pin down, let him catch it right at the elbow, you know, and let that be the case. Or I might run a quick slip screen with Porzingis' man, because that means that's going to be a center that might switch on him, and I might hope they confuse it. Quick little slip screen, top of the key. Maybe somebody hangs out too long. Porzingis might get an open shot. Maybe they switch it. Maybe they messed it up, and Tatum goes to the basket. But I like Boston. I just think that they got to just there's a couple of little tweaks that they need to do to be a little bit more efficient in the late game situation.
Do you feel like the criticism's a little unfair of Tatum? I mean, there's people that I'm seeing, because I mean, you know, I'm looking at all the shows, all the podcasts, and a lot of people don't believe Tatum. He's a number one talent, we've heard, but can he be a number one talent on a number one team and win a championship? Like, can he be the guy
Yes.
to win it.
Yes. He's been to a championship. He's been to a couple of Eastern Conference finals. How old is Tatum?
You about
25?
to say 25, 26,
Yeah, like like when did Braun win his first championship? 28?
27? Yeah, yeah, around there.
27?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, like, give the guy a chance. Like, yes, he is good enough to win. Like, he has to. There's some things that he can get better at, but yeah, Tatum could be the best guy. They went to a NBA Finals. They played Golden State. Golden State won,
Yeah.
and there were times where he didn't play as well. But there's been plenty of stars that had moments in the playoffs where they didn't play as well.
Mm-hmm.
Magic Johnson had the tragic Johnson experience. LeBron had the 2011 experience.
Mm-hmm.
What great players do is they get hit with those experiences in the playoffs. They learn from it, and they come back better, and they go to another level. And I think that's what Tatum is going to do.
So, do you think it's championship or bust for this Boston squad?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they need to win a championship. I think anything other than that will be seen as a disappointment. When you look at how this team is set up, when you look at the money that's committed, they probably have there's no question, they have the best starting five in all of basketball.
Yeah.
And then you have to understand that you're not going to be able to keep this team together for as long because of how the payments are set up. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, Tatum getting his money, Brown got his money, Porzingis get big money. You know, like, you're not going to be able to keep this team together for a long period of time. So you got to maximize your window because of the new tax aprons and stuff like that.
Right. Who do you think is on their trail? Do you think it's Milwaukee? We'll get it. Well, we could talk about Milwaukee with Doc since we talked about that before. The Miami Heat, we see playoff Jimmy. We obviously know we're big on Bam Adebayo. They have a big supporting cast. They have a lot of versatile guys. Do you think the Miami Heat click into that gear that they normally do? It's like, okay, now we know they're a second-half team. Come playoff time, this is the team.
The two teams that would probably scare Boston if I was on the Celtics would be Miami first and foremost, and then I would say the Milwaukee Bucks.
So Miami first.
Miami first because Miami's problem has been offense this year, not defense. We know Miami can slow the game down.
Yeah.
We know Miami can defend. So you slow the game down and start defending, you can win. You can steal some games. We know that Jimmy Butler can go to playoff Jimmy. Bam Adebayo has improved offensively every single year, and defensively he gives Miami versatility. They can switch a screen, they can run a drop coverage, they can trap the screen and roll. He gives them so much versatility, and he doesn't miss anything in the mid-range anymore. So I think Miami would be the team that if I was Boston, that'd be the team I'd be watching the most, because Miami has a chance that we were talking about Miami being a playing team, but Miami has a chance to be like the fourth seed.
Right.
They really did. Like, if you look at the Knicks being banged up right now, the trajectory that they're on, Orlando being a young team, Miami has a real shot to be the fourth seed. And I think that roster is better this year. Like Terry Rozier, he's going to get it eventually. It hasn't worked click for him, but we know what type of talent he is. You got Tyler Hero on the team, and I'm telling you, the difference for them is this year, a guy like Jaime Jaquez, he can come in and have 1 to 2 big games that help you win a playoff series. They didn't have a guy like him.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have you can like when Jimmy goes out the game, they can run offense through Jaquez.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, you post up, you make plays, you do what you do at UCLA, what you did at UCLA, bring that here to South Beach, and we'll let you do that at times. So this Miami team is probably the scariest team that I've seen as far as matching up with the Boston Celtics, because we know what playoff Jimmy will do, and we know what Eric Spoelstra going to do. Eric Spoelstra going to make it hard on your stars.
Do you feel like Bam Adebayo could be the best player on this team? Like, if he was your number one, if he took that step offensively, do you think that helps the Heat win a championship?
Nah.
No?
I think it's got to be – I think we just got to see playoff – instead of we seeing Jimmy pick his spots, it's time for Jimmy to have elite seasons and elite runs. We talk about playoff Jimmy because he'll be elite in certain moments. It's time for – like, Jimmy doesn't get the credit that he deserves because he has yet to have multiple elite seasons. I can't think he hasn't had an elite season.
Right. No.
He's had some very good seasons, but he hasn't had, like, Tatum has had an elite season before. You know what I'm saying? Jokic has had multiple elite seasons. Embiid, elite seasons. Jimmy doesn't get mentioned in that category because he hasn't had an elite season. But he kind of picks his spots kind of like Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has had multiple great playoff runs, but he hasn't had that elite season. And so I think Miami needs Jimmy to just be that guy in the playoffs. Be like, hey, man, don't turn down no shots. Go out there, average between 25, 30 points a game. You set the tone, and then you let everybody else, the guys like Bam, Jaquez, Hero, Rozier, let all those guys fall in line behind you. But your star's job is to set the table. And I think Jimmy, and we've seen when Jimmy wants to. Hey, man, I called Game 5. He hooked Jrue Holiday up to a Ford F-150 and drug him all around the gym. I'm serious. And so we know what Jimmy can do.
Yeah, no, Jimmy's that guy. Shout out to Jordan. My man Jordan joined. Colin Sexton has been balling. That man, I don't know if you saw Colin's play the other night. It was like off another alley-oop. Like, Colin is absolutely balling. Sticking East, Milwaukee, you called it with Doc Rivers. We talked about Giannis. What are they, undefeated since the All-Star break? They won. I know they won.
They got clapped last night.
Okay. So that was their first time with like 5-1, 6-1 since the All-Star break. Like, they're clearly gaining momentum though. So do you think everyone was just way too quick on the Doc Rivers train and this isn't going to work? And now do you finally feel like, okay, this Milwaukee team they got it together now?
Doc Rivers is an easy target.
Yeah,
he's an easy target. You know, you have a coach that in Adrian Griffin that gets removed while his team is probably in second place. A lot of people don't like Doc Rivers. He's blown a bunch of 3-1 leads. So when he comes in and it's not clicking right away, everybody's like, see, I told you it wasn't going to work. But that's why I'm kind of different than some analysts. I look at the numbers. So they might lose the game. I'm like, yeah, they lost that game. But I'm looking at defensively, they're getting better. Like, before Doc got there, they were giving up like 120 points a game. Now they're giving up like 111. That's a big difference. Yeah. You're giving up 120, you're not a serious ball club. Not as far as winning, you entertain them, but you're not serious. Mm-hmm. And so when I look at what Doc is able to do defensively, they're playing well. And then they've had guys out, like Middleton's missed some time, and then they've had different games whether it be Giannis, Dame. So they haven't really completely been whole. They're just starting to get there. But I think Doc's going to help this team. I give Doc more credit than a lot of pundits like that.
I do too. That's why you just got to give it time. Got to be patient. They have championship DNA. Giannis has clearly won a championship as well. Let's go over to the West. I wanted your thoughts on SGA. And he's someone that I have to admit I haven't shown enough love. And then now I think he's coming to the point where it's undeniable. Like, he's clearly that guy. I really like Chet. This OKC team is young, and I don't think they're on the level of a Denver, obviously, or even a Minnesota, or even if they play like Golden State, for example, with the veterans.
They're ahead of Minnesota right now.
Okay, but so how high are you on OKC? I like the grit and that what I see from them when they play. So where would you evaluate them in the West right now if you're OKC?
I think Denver, to me, is Denver. The teams I believe in the most are Denver and the Clippers. And then after that comes probably, even though OKC is a young team, I'll put them up there because they're going to have home court advantage for probably the first couple rounds of the series. So I can see OKC, and I like what SGA is. I think he has a legitimate chance to be the MVP of the league this year. He's a two-way MVP too. Like, he getting it done offensively, and then he'll go guard you on the other end. This is Chet is killing it. This is basically his rookie year. So I like what OKC is, and now you look at Minnesota obviously being compromised. Karl Anthony Towns with a meniscus injury. We don't know when he's coming back. Yeah, I can see OKC winning multiple playoff series. The team I believe in the most is Denver. Outside of that, I think it could go 1,000 different ways on 1,000 different days based on matchup. Where if OKC could have to play New Orleans first round, or they could have to play the Phoenix Suns, like, you don't know. The Western Conference is going to be a battle from the jump. First round through the conference tournament, through the Western Conference final is going to be crazy because the matchups are all going to be insane. You know, we can see Luka, LeBron James. We can see Luka, LeBron James, and Steph all in the play-in.
That's nuts.
Exactly. And so I believe that OKC is good enough to beat anybody. They're good enough to beat anybody. We just got to see if those young guys are ready for the bright lights, because when them lights get hot in the playoffs, the popcorn gets a little bit more buttery. You know, hey, listen, it's a lot more pressure. The lights get a little bit brighter. You got to see, which one of my young stars is ready to step up in them moments. You know what I'm saying? So pressure breaks pipes, or it makes diamonds. We got to see which one of these guys is going to be able to throw up the diamonds.
Now, say, speaking of diamonds, you got to always be careful. That playing team last year who made it to the Western Conference Finals, you always got to be a little careful of those guys down
there. We go. You find a way to bring Bron up and everything, bro.
just had to throw that out there. The main thing I really had a question for you as well, probably our last topic here. Take a moment, tell me about Zion Williamson. As a former player yourself, you obviously still stay in great shape. You see Stephen A. Smith saying Zion's not in shape, he's not in shape. You see the Pelicans clapping back at Stephen A. Zion's balling. If you're the Pelicans, is Zion your guy? You obviously have BI as well. But they should, like, with the talent that they have, they should be able to make some noise come playoff time, especially if that guy's playing the way he should be. What is your thoughts on Zion and his approach right now? What are your eyes?
I love the thought of what Zion could be.
Okay.
What he could be is a top 5 player. When we talk about Zion, he's supposed to be mentioned in that same group with Tatum, Luka, SGA, and all the up-and-coming young guys that we think are going to be the face of the league when guys like Bron and Steph retire.
Yeah.
The problem is it is very hard to be the face of the league and to be a championship-level player when you're consistently not in shape. Because what happens is when it's time for you to tell your teammates to do the tough stuff, they're going to be looking at you crazy. Man, we got to play defense. They're looking at you like, man, you out of shape. You ain't playing defense half the time. We ain't listening to you. You know what I'm saying? We gotta sacrifice. Sacrifice? You've been out of shape for like the last 3 years. I think that Zion in shape could be insanely scary. He is killing the league out of shape.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think unless you are Shaquille O'Neal, it's very hard for me to say your team's best player can be out of shape and you're a contender to win a championship. I just don't believe that to be true. I believe, like, if you look at him, he doesn't go back and look at a clip of Zion from Duke, and it's not that long ago.
Yeah.
And look how he was flying around the court, and then look at him now. You'd be like, oh,
yeah, there's
like
a difference.
You're like, you know, he's still going left every single time. Hasn't added a counter. Nope. What's his outside of drive left? Doesn't really have the go-to move just yet. Still not a three-point shooter. But then the rebounds aren't high. You know, defensively, teams go after him. They want him in the pick and roll. They want to attack his feet. You know, the weak side, big-time blocks that he used to have at Duke, the closeouts, they're not there. When I watched Zion play at Duke, I saw a guy that was switching screens, ripping guards, starting fast breaks, and ending them with 360 dunks.
Yeah.
I saw a guy that was flying around on the perimeter, closing out to guys. He was in the paint, closing out to guys at the three-point line and blocking their shot. I saw a guy that I thought could change basketball. I'm disappointed in what I've gotten from Zion and it's not because I don't like him. I'm not going to make fun of him like Stephen A. Smith does. That's not me. I'm not here to body shame nobody. I see greatness, and I see that he's not tapping into it all the way. That's where I'm at with Zion. And it's hard for you to be a winning team if your best player isn't bought into being the best he can be.
That's what I was just about to ask you. You've been teammates with Michael Jordan. You've been teammates with LeBron James. You have literally seen the best people in their approach. Is it just his mindset? Like, obviously you're not in that locker room, but is it just his approach to just not being dedicated? Like, why would he not take that step?
I don't know. I mean, only Zion can answer that question.
Yeah.
Why haven't you added to your game? And you look at a lot of other stars. Look at a guy that's not even on his level, but that guy that I like, Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
Bam came into this league as a rebounder, defender, dunker. He's added a go-to move. He's nice with his jump hook. His face-up jumper has become impeccable.
Good passer.
Has a great passer, nice mid-range game, and then he's even added in a floater. So his pull-up J's in the mid-range floater. So I can name 3 to 4 different things that Bam has brought to his game since Kentucky. I can't do that for Zion.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can look at a guy like De'Aaron Fox and talk about how much better his jumper has gotten since Kentucky. I can't do that for Zion. It's hard to win when all you're going to do is drive left every single time and crash into the basket. And you're going to get into a playoff series where you're going to need more tools in your toolbox. And why he hasn't improved or gotten in shape, Only he can answer that question.
Yeah.
But I don't have the answers for it, and I'm disappointed because I know what the kid could be. He could be the face of the league. Instead of being an all-time great, he's settling for being an all-star. And an all-star is good if that's the best you can be, but he can be top 50 good, top 25 ever good, and he's settling for just being an all-star from time to time.
Yeah, and it's just we're repeatedly having the same conversation every single year. It's not like this just came up. This has been happening since he entered the league, and then you add the injuries on top of that. B. Wood, before I let you go, is there anything else you got to get off your chest before we end this one?
Man, what we got out there? You know what, man? Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Let me give you an answer.
Okay. Because I know you're a Bron guy.
Yeah. That's my guy. He doesn't know it yet. I got something to tell you when we get off air, by the way.
How far are the Lakers going this year? Are they right now? How far do you have them going? Do you have them making it out of play-in?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. If they make it out of the play-in, like if they're in the first round, they playing against OKC. You got them winning?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
You serious?
Hey, we're not talking about how sustainable they are through 82 games. We're talking about a best of 7. You got to win me 4 games. I still have confidence. I'm taking LeBron and AD over SGA and Chet right now because I know what they can do come playoff time when the game gets more physical. I trust Bron in those moments more than I trust anyone in the league. You saw, shout out to Perk, you saw his list of dangerous players. It was Jokic. Who was number 2? It was Bron come playoff time.
Man, come on, man.
I'm not
Perk is not objective.
Perk's a smart man. Look, I'm not saying they're going to win a championship. They certainly are not going to win a championship with the way they're currently constructed, but I have them at least going to the second round come playoff time.
I'm going to put it to you like this. I believe in SGA. And I don't believe there's nobody on that Laker team that can slow him down.
Who's slowing Bron down, though?
Say what?
Who's slowing Bron down, though?
Bron 40. He gonna be able to slow down himself. Like he's 40. He's naturally slowing down. Like I just believe that SGA gonna turn it up. Hey, listen, SGA my favorite young guy to watch because he gonna come to the game dressed fly.
He is, and his captions are the best.
Hey, listen, man. And this is when I became a fan of SGA. I love this game. He got better every year. But first off, I seen him take on Steph Curry, right? Came to the game, fly, clean it in the board of health. Then he went out there and dropped about 40 points on him, whatever.
Yeah.
Then he went out there was blocking Steph's shot, making big time plays defensively, and then after the game, he had the audacity to post the clips of him balling out on Steph Curry on social. I said, "Oh, this young man don't care. He built different." And listen, he had to play where he went behind the back and left Steph over here. He had to play where he blocked Steph's shot. He had to fly caption. I said, "Man, listen, anybody that can come out here, look Steph Curry eyeball to eyeball, give him the business, then put on his fly outfit, walk out the game, and then go straight to social and tweet all the highlights out."
He's cold. He's cold.
That dude cold. He ain't scared of them old heads. Hey, listen, man. Don't none of them old heads want to run up against SGA in the playoffs. Believe that. Believe that.
I'm taking I agree to everything you just said. Give me Ant-Man. Give me Ant-Man.
Ant-Man ain't gonna have Karl Anthony Towns, man. Karl Anthony Towns got a meniscus. Ant-Man about to see some elite coverage come playoffs. I believe in Ant-Man too.
Yeah.
But I like SGA a little bit more than Ant-Man. That's why SGA right now, it's SGA and Jokic for MVP this year. That's the race.
Yeah.
That's the race.
Especially with Embiid out, it's kind of hard.
With Embiid, now we understand Embiid would probably have
Don't
won
sleep
it,
on
right now.
Luka, though. Don't sleep on Luka. Luka's numbers are crazy.
Luka's numbers are crazy, but the Mavericks defense is terrible, and they're not winning enough games. They're not going to win enough games. They're not. They could be in the play-in. The MVP can't come from the play-in, bro. Stop. It can't happen. We can't have a play-in MVP. Like
I agree.
I love what Luka,
I agree.
I love what Luka's doing, but right now the MVP race is SGA and Joker. That's the MVP race right there. I believe in SGA like the 1st and the 15th. And you know what happens on the 1st and the 15th, right? Payday.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you as always, B Wood. Thank you all for tuning in. And then until next time, B Wood.
All right, boss.
I got to call you.
Yeah.